Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk about a book that really shifted my perspective. Something I keep coming back to whenever life gets a bit, scary. It's called The Places That Scare You, A Guide to Fearlessness in Difficult Times by Pema Chodron. You know, sometimes you pick up a book and it feels like it was written just for you, speaking directly to those anxieties and uncertainties we all carry. This is that kind of book for me. Pema Chodron, a renowned Buddhist nun and teacher, shares profound wisdom in a way that feels like she's sitting right across from you, offering a warm cup of tea and some incredibly practical advice. The core message of this book, the big idea, revolves around something called bodhicitta. Now, this might sound like a complex spiritual term, but Pema Chodron breaks it down beautifully. She explains that bodhicitta means awake, enlightened, or completely open mind and heart. It's essentially our innate capacity for love and compassion, what she calls the soft spot. She even tells this wonderful story from her childhood, where an old woman simply told her, "Little girl, don't you go letting life harden your heart." That's bodhicitta in a nutshell. We always have the choice to let circumstances harden us, making us resentful and afraid, or to let them soften us, making us kinder and more open to what scares us. It's like finding a natural opening in the protective walls we built out of fear, prejudice, and opinions. So, if bodhicitta is this open heart and mind, what does it mean to be a warrior? Pema Chodron clarifies that it's not about being aggressive or harmful, it's about being a warrior of non-aggression. Someone who hears the cries of the world and is willing to train in the middle of the fire. This means courageously cutting through our own reactivity and self-deception. She points to figures like Mother Teresa and Martin Luther King as examples of master warriors who understood that the greatest harm often comes from our own aggressive minds. It's about nurturing our own courage and love. One of the foundational ways to approach life, according to Pema Chodron, is through what she calls the three noble principles: being good in the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. Imagine starting your day, eating a meal, or walking into a meeting with the intention to be open, flexible, and kind. Then, during the activity, you maintain an inquisitive attitude. Like her teacher Chobyam Trungpa Rinpoche used to say, live your life as an experiment. And finally, at the end, whether you feel you succeeded or failed, you seal the act by thinking of others, wishing that anything you learn could benefit them too. It's a universal gesture of friendship. Now, the book really digs into the facts of life, what the Buddha called the three principal characteristics of human existence: impermanence, acquiescence, and suffering or dissatisfaction. These aren't personal failings, but simply the way things are. Impermanence means nothing is static, everything is always changing. Our moods, thoughts, emotions, even physical pain, it's all in flux. We resist this, constantly seeking security and permanence. But Pema Chodron reminds us that relaxing with this truth is key. Like Trungpa Rinpoche's response to her complaining about transitions: we're always in transition. If you can just relax with that, you'll have no problem. Then there's acquiescence, which doesn't mean you disappear or become beige. It means letting go of the fixed idea of who you are, whether competent or hopeless, superior or inferior. It's about cultivating a flexible identity, being inquisitive, adaptable, humorous, and playful. It's the capacity to relax with not knowing. Finally, suffering or dissatisfaction stems from resisting impermanence, insisting on a fixed identity, and seeking happiness in all the wrong places. She uses a powerful analogy here, like a moth flying into a flame. We often pursue things that offer temporary relief but ultimately escalate our suffering. This continuous cycle is called samsara. So how do we stop this cycle? Pema Chodron introduces us to the three lords of materialism, which are basically the strategies we use to shield ourselves from the fluid, unpredictable world and create an illusion of security. The lord of form is when we look to external things for solid ground, like shopping, therapy, alcohol, food, or even the beauty of nature. It's like the mouse that gets caught in a trap because they can't resist the cheese. As the Dalai Lama twisted the analogy, saying the clever Tibetan mice would abstain from the short-term pleasure for long-term living. The Lord of Speech is about using beliefs, political, philosophical, spiritual isms to feel right and make others wrong, avoiding the uneasiness of not knowing. She shares an incredible story from Jarvis J. Masters, a Buddhist friend on death row, who observed how people Whether in clad outfits, environmentalist gear, or extensive suits, all had the same angry faces when caught by their beliefs. Lastly, the Lord of Mind is seeking special states of mind, like drugs, sports, or even spiritual highs to escape mundane experience. The problem isn't the experience itself, but the addictive quality of wanting to cling to it. All these strategies, no matter how benign they seem, ultimately prevent us from enjoying the tenderness and wonder of ordinary times and connecting with bodhicitta. Okay, you might be asking, this all sounds great, but how do I actually do this? This is where the practices come in. The foundation of bodhicitta training is sitting meditation, or mindfulness awareness practice. It's not about feeling good or trying to fix yourself, it's about cultivating memory, which is unconditional friendliness towards yourself, accepting yourself just as you are with your confusion and your sanity. It's about learning to stay with whatever rises, including discomfort. She talks about 4 qualities of mind cultivated in meditation: steadfastness, loyalty to your experience, being in your body, clear seeing, less self-deception, noticing thoughts without judgment, experiencing emotional distress, staying with the energy of emotion without acting out or repressing it, and attention to the present moment, choosing to be fully here, touch and go. The pith instruction is simple: stay, just stay. It's like training a dog with kindness, resulting in flexibility and confidence rather than neurosis. A truly powerful tool she discusses are the Lojong slogans of Adisha, brought from India to Tibet in the 11th century. These pithy sayings are designed to help us transform difficult circumstances into the path of enlightenment, using what we most dislike as fuel. For instance, the slogan, "Always meditate on whatever provokes resentment," encourages us to pause instead of acting out our anger. She tells a great story about Jesh Chakola's brother, who was initially contemptuous of the teachings, but became kinder and more flexible just by secretly listening to the slogans. The practice is always the same: catching our emotional reactions, dropping the storylines, feeling the bodily sensation, and then breathing it in for ourselves and for all who suffer similarly. The book then dives into the 4 limitless qualities: loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. These are aspiration practices where you start by wishing happiness or freedom from suffering for yourself and loved ones, then gradually expanding that wish to neutral people, then to those who irritate you, and finally to all beings. It's a workout for the heart, and you can expect resistance when wishing happiness for someone who drives you crazy. Pema Chodron highlights the near enemies and far enemies of these qualities, which are subtle distortions or direct opposites that hinder our practice. For example, the near enemy of loving kindness is attachment lenjut, which is love based on need and clinging, while its far enemy is hatred. For compassion, the near enemies are pity, overwhelm, and idiot compassion, being kind when you should set boundaries, and the far enemy is cruelty. These enemies are actually great teachers, showing us where we need to soften and open our hearts. The practice of Tongol, or sending and taking, is another incredible bodhicitta practice. You're breathing what's painful and unwanted, the suffering of yourself and others, with the sincere wish for freedom from suffering. As you do, you drop the storyline and feel the underlying energy. Then, on the exhale, you send out happiness and relief. She says doing Tongol for someone you see in distress, or even for your own pain, remembering others who feel the same, helps dissolve the illusion of separateness. It's not metaphysical, it's simple and very human, and you discover for yourself what happens. Pema Chodron also emphasizes forgiveness as an essential part of the journey. It's about letting go of the past and making a fresh start, acknowledging shame or remorse, forgiving yourself for being human, and then letting go. She shares a touching story of a woman who, through Tongol, was able to forgive her abusive father, seeing him with compassion for the first time. Forgiveness, it seems, can be forced, but emerges when we bravely open our hearts to ourselves. She describes 5 strengths a warrior cultivates: strong determination, familiarizing with the practices, the seed of goodness within, reproach with humor, and aspiration. Reproach in particular is about catching ourselves when we're hooked by habits, like Jejben yelling thief, thief, when he caught himself taking flour or no more yogurt for this yogurt addict. When craving his favorite food, it's about getting smart about what brings suffering and finally giving ourselves a break. A really interesting part of the book is about three kinds of laziness: comfort orientation, avoiding inconvenience, loss of heart, hopelessness, poor me, and couldn't care less, resentment, defiance. We usually deal with these through futile strategies like attacking ourselves, indulging, or ignoring, but the warrior's enlightened strategy is to fully experience whatever we've been resisting, becoming inquisitive about laziness itself. It's a transformative process that unlocks blocked energy. The book touches on the 6 parameters, or 6 activities of the Bodhisattva: generosity, discipline, patience, enthusiasm, meditation, and prana, unconditional wisdom. These are ways to go to the other shore, beyond aversion and attachment, into groundlessness. The key is prana parignavan, which is unconditional bodhicitta. Mindfulness and open-ended inquiry. It's about letting go of fixed ideas, even the idea that we should let go. Her teacher explained prana with the paradox: form is emptiness. Emptiness also is form. This means things are just as they are, without our projections. But also that this emptiness continually manifests as all of life's experiences: war, peace, grief, joy. It's incredibly challenging, like the Buddhist students having heart attacks when told to let go of everything. The ultimate teaching is about fearlessness, summarized in the mantra Om Gate Gate Paragate Samjit Bodhisvaha gone beyond, gone completely beyond, awake, so be it. It's an endless process of stepping further into groundlessness. One thing she's very honest about is heightened neurosis. As with practice, our patterns don't just disappear, that often intensify. We might use the practice to feel self-critical or superior, or to avoid uncomfortable truths. But this is actually a sign that old habits are getting liberated, that we're moving closer to the natural open state. It's an invitation to compassionate inquiry into our own minds. Finally, she talks about the in-between state. This is where the warrior spends a lot of time growing up. You're fed up with old comforts, but not yet dwelling in continuous equanimity. It's marked by anxiety, heartbreak, and tenderness. The challenge is to stay in the middle, letting it soften you rather than making you rigid. It's about containing paradox, knowing something can be both right and wrong, or someone both loving and angry. It's a groundless place, but it's also where you access inner strength and where compassion spontaneously arises. This book is incredibly relevant today. In a world full of chaos, aggression, and suffering, Pema Chodron's message resonates deeply. She says, the main question is, are we living in a way that adds further aggression and self-centeredness to the mix, or are we adding some much-needed sanity? It comes down to a Native American story she shares: 2 wolves fighting in your heart, one vengeful and angry, the other understanding and kind. The one that wins is the one you choose to feed. This book gives us the practical pointers and the deep encouragement to feed the right wolf, to uncover our natural intelligence, natural warmth, and natural openness. My biggest takeaway from this book is the profound permission it gives to be imperfect, to struggle, and to find courage, not by conquering fear, but by leaning into it. It's about transforming everything, even the most difficult emotions and situations, into a path for awakening. It's a call to take the lead, to commit to letting go of old grudges, fears, and closed-mindedness, and to develop trust in our basic goodness and the basic goodness of everyone around us. If you're looking for a guide to navigate the messy, unpredictable, and sometimes terrifying landscape of being human, this book is truly a gift. It won't give you easy answers, but it will give you the wisdom and the tools to find freedom and compassion right where you are.